Is there a motion to approve the old minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Pat, second.
Second.
Brad, all those in favor?
Aye.
You're chairperson.
What?
You're chairperson. No. Oh, all those in favor, I even did that. Okay, election of officers. I will make a motion to keep the chairperson and vice chair the same.
I'll second.
Motion is second. All those
Can
in
the chairman
favor?
make a motion for
Yes.
himself?
Why not?
Got it.
Nobody has to second it.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposition, none. Okay, Sarah, budget review for the new year.
So budget's super simple. The first page is the revenues. My beginning fund balance is 47,000 starting in July. If you go to the middle column, that's where we're at. The county is going to contribute 26,000. If you go to the right, that's what I'm asking the county to contribute next year, 25,000, so $1,600 less. They should be happy with that. Hazmat stays the same. We got the federal grant. Last year was 18,130. This year's 18,344. So I'm guessing it's 18,000 because it always is 18,000. We did have an extra, the 2020 supplemental grant last year for an extra $11,812. And that just helped cover some of my extra time because during COVID, I spent way more than 20, 30 hours on it. So, but the two middle items, 21, exactly the same. So the total budget revenue in line 32 this year, 75,868, next year, 74,224. It's that $1,600 less. The second page is the expenses. I calculated a 5% increase. I think that's what the county's gonna do. So the FICA and IPERS goes up 5%. The vehicle maintenance, as you can see, it's always around 1,200, so 1,250, 1,250. Office supplies, it was higher in that first year because of COVID, but we should be around that $500 mark, so I didn't change that. The advertising is always about 142, so I put 150, postage 50, employee mileage. With COVID, we don't go anywhere, we just do Zoom, but I still left it in there for 500. Telephone is always around 1,000. Education and training, I will have to start doing that again, so I did leave that in the 2,500. I told Jason we'll have to do an exercise, so that's a pretty safe number. Hazmat never changes. Equipment, insurance on the trailer and the Tahoe, and dues and memberships. So this year the budget was, or the revenues were, sorry, expenses were 75,868. Next year 77,000, but the asking from the county is actually down. So the budget is up $80, but the asking is down $1,600. So basically exactly the same budget.
Did you see there was some new legislation that's put forward for EMA for this year? For training hours and
We got that right here.
mandatory presentations.
Yes, we got that right here. So that's your budget overview. We want to set the public hearing date, February 17th, approximately 6:30. Motion for that. Yeah, 17th, sorry, 6:30.
Is there a motion to set the public hearing date?
I'll make a motion.
Second? Dan, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, so for the next meeting, though, just remind your elected officials or the designee that they have to be elected to vote on the budget. Anybody can go to the meetings, except that one has to be elected officials. Like he said, there was new legislation, and one of them is there's just additional policies for EMPG. We already did 2 of the policies last year, which talked about the procurement policy. If I want to buy anything, like if we were buying UV lights, or I had to get 3 quotes. If it's anything more than $5,000, you have to get 3 quotes. The additional policies are going to be the capital asset policy. So if we have anything more than $5,000, I have to keep track of it. And if it's like, I've got a bunch of PPE in the basement right now. And Carrie and I do keep an inventory on that. And at the time, like a case of N95 masks, when you paid $5 a piece for them, you know, a case of those things were $2,000. So if something were to come missing, I gotta tell the sheriff so that he can investigate. So we need to adopt this
Courthouse
policy.
is in town.
Yeah, at this time. So just because there was a lot of inventory that went through emergency management, so they want us to have this capital asset. So that'll be at the next one for the elected officials to vote on. And then they're making us have guidance for determining allowability of costs. Again, Jason was selling N95 masks for $10 and you were selling them for $5, just because I know Jason, I can't buy them from $10 for him. I gotta buy them from you for $5. It's just makes sure Sarah is buying stuff at the cost. we're
Now the
supposed to be
government
buying
is concerned about spending money.
them. Yeah. So,
Only once it
and
gets
we
out
already
this far.
did the purchasing and the procurement policy. So we already have that. It's just, yeah, I have to tell you all every year that they watch us and make sure we have these procurement policies. And I always get my 3 bids. So then the second thing is the 24-hour continuing ed for EMA. Been doing this for 13 years. It's always been 24 hours of continuing ed. I've never not been compliant. He gets the letters every year that say we're compliant in exercise, we're compliant in planning, and we're compliant in training. So here I have to upload them to the state website every year, in 2018, 2019, 2020. They say, yep, you were there 11.25 hours, 6 hours too, you know, and then she'll send you a certificate that you've met the 24 hours. So the new legislation though says that of the 24 hours, 12 hours has to be like state and everything that I do, the state guy emails out. I'm like, oh, that's a good one. I'm gonna do that one. And then the other 12 hours has to be driven by the commission. So the remaining 12 hours of required annual training is coursework or content that is improved by your commission, working in conjunction with the local emergency management coordinator. So I can pick out some trainings that I'm going to do. I actually am doing a human trafficking one. The school sent it out. So I did 2.5 hours last night. I'm doing 2.5 hours on Thursday night. So that's like 5 hours. So it's like, I have to fill out this sheet. And like he said, do a presentation on, these are the trainings that I did. And are you okay with the trainings that I do? There's a emergency management conference that's always in May. I've gone to that every single year for 12 years. The state is always there. Usually they have somebody from the FBI, very interesting speakers that they pay, you know, these nationwide speakers to come. It's always worth 12 hours of training. It's like the best training that I can get. So I always do that. I always take off from school and I always go to the emergency management conference for 12 hours. So between that and the 5 hours of human trafficking, I'll be at 17. Plus I have to do 12 hours of their required state training. So.
Is this commission fine with letting Sarah choose the training she wants to go to? Absolutely. Have at it.
Okay. But I just, like he said, then we have to fill that sheet out. And then I just have to do a presentation, which is exactly, you guys can see back all 12 years, everyone that I did. We went to Colorado that time and took Manning, and anyway, that's that. Old business is the required signatures that when we have the elected officials here, they just sign for their town. And then the coalition monthly and quarterly meetings, still doing that. The update there is the county paid a consultant to do a public health assessment to assess if the county is going to keep public health at the hospital or if the county is going to take public health back and bring it in with Megan and home health and Carrie with environmental health and have it more of a county public health instead of a hospital public health. So we're waiting for that report and that assessment. Several of us got interviewed and we had a meeting tonight about $125,000 technology grant. So Dalton can spend more money and make Zoom and meetings like this just more able that people can do from home and
More friendly.
so on and so forth. So,
Sure, like
Okay.
everybody needs to be
yes.
antisocial.
So that is the update on coalition, spending that money and so on and so forth.
I hate to say, does anyone have any questions for Sarah? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Brian, second, Jim?